So this is a bit of a red pill story time type of thing, and it's kind of a funny story that I found to be interesting, and it kind of stuck with me. There's this guy I work with, highly successful, in his I would say mid 40s, maybe early 50s, good looking guy. Ticks all the boxes in terms of nice to talk to, has a good head on his shoulders, all that type of stuff. Me and him, not the best of friends for whatever reason. We do have some work related animosity, so we're definitely not the best of friends. I'm a lot younger than this guy, and then one day I go and I'm grabbing lunch from the cafeteria area, and he's sitting there by himself. And I do the whole, hey, basically respectful greeting, and I go to grab my food, and he looks at me, and for whatever reason he decides to open up to me. And I've been engrossed in the red pill community, or at least aware of the red pill community for a while now, and I sort of pick up on these things, and for whatever reason I attract these types of conversations. And this guy looks at me, and this is the conversation that he decides to strike. This is the conversation that he decides to start. He says, are you married? And I look at him and I say, no, I'm not married. And I'm kind of proud of this because I'm young, successful, and not married, which is what the vast majority of guys in today's society they look at and they're like, whoa, this is like, this guy's living the life. So this guy asked me if I'm married. I say, no, I'm not married. And he sort of subtly says, okay, yeah, don't ever get married, or something along those lines. And this is my cue because I know that this guy is someone who I've been through enough to know that this guy is someone who's hurting. This guy is someone who's lonely, because why else would he open up to someone who he's not even friends with and probably does not like me that much, because we have had some issues, not major issues, but some issues. And why would he open up to me in that way? Why would he give me that genuine advice? And it was coming from the heart when he said it. It wasn't just because he wanted to talk. He was actually looking at his former self, his previous younger self, and saying, do not ever get married. And I decided to not let go of that conversation. And I decided to follow up and I asked him a couple of questions. And he said, don't get me wrong, I love my children with all my heart, and I am having a lot of issues with my current wife, and I will be losing. I really want to leave. I really want to leave. And this is a man who's opening up to me, and I wish you guys could have seen his eyes, because I've seen this pain in so many married men's eyes, because the system is so against men when it comes to this type of thing that it is absolutely horrendous. And this guy looks at me and he says, I want to get out of this, but I can't. I'll lose $2.5 million if I leave. And I will not be able to keep a lot of my money because I'll be paying child support. And for whatever reason, I don't understand the laws too much. But he says, maybe because he doesn't have to pay child support, or for whatever reason, he says, I have to wait until my children turn 18 before I can get this divorce. And that's probably coming up in a couple of years. And until then, I really have to hustle and work hard so that I have whatever 50% I get to keep, or whatever percentage he'll get to keep out of his money. That will be enough to sustain him, because he's not really too close to retirement, but getting there. And he's worried about his future, and he's worried about maintaining his lifestyle, whereas the courts seem to be worried about maintaining only the wife's lifestyle, whereas the man's lifestyle, who cares about that, right? And the pain and fear that I saw in this man's eyes was yet another wake up call to the modern day struggles that come with marriage, and the reason why so many men are refusing to get married, because you are literally walking into a slaughterhouse where there is a big, big incentive for women to leave you. And a lot of relationships, do not get me wrong, a lot of relationships will end, or will pass through a period of disdain. And usually the disdain, unfortunately, comes from the woman's part. And the reason, it could come from both parts, don't get me wrong, but the reason it comes from the woman's part is because she will at some point lose some respect for you. And if you want to look more deeply into this, there's Richard Cooper. He talks a lot about, concession by 1,000 cuts, or something along those lines, by 1,000 Yeah, I think no. Betasization by 1,000 concessions or something along those lines. Basically, meaning that you slowly, 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 the more time you spend with your woman, the more she's gonna grind you down and down and down and down in terms of stripping you away from your freedom, from the power that you had, not the power, the passion that you had towards life when you first met her, when you were charismatic and you were exciting and you were fun and she really wanted to spend time with you and she really respected you. She's slowly stripping you down, and this is human nature, this is animal nature, slowly, unintentionally stripping you down until you become a person who has lost that light in their eyes and now is no longer worthy of her respect in her eyes. And she will sort of now kind of like shame you more and more, and you will be a shell of your former self as a man. And then after that, once you become a shell of your former self, you would think that maybe possibly you will be getting some sympathy, but no, what you will be getting is someone who thinks you're pathetic, who wants to leave you and has no longer has any use for you. And now when they do leave, they are going to get rewarded and you are going to get severely, more important than them getting rewarded, you're going to get severely, severely, severely punished, financially especially. And if you don't think financial punishment is a serious punishment, say that to all the men who were divorced and committed suicide. It's not just about the money, obviously. It's also about losing the future that you had envisioned. It's also losing about the person who you love, who you thought was going to be with you for the rest of your life. It's also about losing all the things that you believed prior to this happening, all the things that you believed this person is going to have your back, you believe that this person is not never going to hurt you, you believe that this person is never going to stab you in the back or take your money, is going to be caring through thick and thin. And now this person does not care at all, ruthless, absolutely ruthless. And this is the reality that a lot of men have to face at some point, unfortunately. And this is the system that we have formed in the Western world where certain groups of people are encouraged, they are encouraged to leave their marriage, to leave wedlock, and they are rewarded for that. And I'm not saying it's just a financial reward. It is the fact that you do not, the whole system is set up in a way, all of society is set up in a way where, oh, you can do better. All these options are available. There's the grass is always greener on the other side. You should leave this and look at something else. All that type of stuff. Or if he's not doing this, then you deserve better. If he's not doing that, then you deserve better. And some of the blame obviously comes to man. A lot of the blame, in my opinion, because you gotta have your self respect, man. You gotta have your self respect. You gotta put your self respect first. You gotta put your character above anything financial. You got to put your character above any other thing in the world, even above love. You got to put your character above love. But so there is an aspect of blame towards men, but the way the system and the society is set up is not geared toward marriage. And I do agree with this guy when he told me, do not get married because I am going to be losing $2.5 million of his hard earned money, of his. I know how many shifts, I know how much work goes into making accumulating $2.5 million. I know how much work goes into that, and that is a lot of hours. That is a lot of hours when it comes to education prior to the job, and that is a lot of hours when it comes to the job itself, and the late nights and the early mornings and the stressors and all the stuff that you have to deal with. I know what that means. I know what that $2.5 million dollars did not fall off a tree. That $2.5 million dollars did not come out of nowhere. And sure, the wife had to cook for the kids or take care of the kids at home or whatever she did to play her part. Hopefully, she did that at least. But $2.5 million dollars is a lot of money for that. So be aware, guys. This is not me telling you how to live your life. This is not me. This is not me saying that I know any more than you do. But it's very important, especially if you're a successful young dude or if you have the potential to become successful someday. It's very important to guard your finances. And it's kind of a funny video that I posted there with the fees thing. And is that saving money or throwing away money? In my view, it was like kind of a throwing away money thing, but I guess it looks like saving money. But anyway, yeah, be careful, because they're out to get you, my man. Not women. I'm not saying women are out to get you. The system is out to get you. The system is out to get you. Be careful and be smart. And if you love a woman and you want to spend your life with her, you tell her, all right, we'll spend our life together. No commonwealth marriage or whatever. You talk to a lawyer and there's no common, whatever you call it, I don't know, marriage. There's no government involvement whatsoever in the relationship between you and that woman. If you want to get married religiously, that's fine. No government involvement where you're going to be losing all of your money and incentivizing the woman to leave. That's not an option. A high value, a cool, a genuine, a man of character will not sign that silly, silly, silly contract.